Hey guys, so today I'm showing you how to make stuffed chicken breast, and I'm gonna be stuffing it with some mushroom and spinach and cheese. Okay, and I'm also gonna be pairing it with this delicious creamy garlic mushroom sauce. It's so good paired together with some red skin mashed potatoes. So let's get started with this delicious recipe. Okay, so I'm starting with my chicken breast. All right, I already washed it, and now I'm using paper towels and I'm just pat drying each breast to remove any extra liquid. Then you're gonna get a knife, get a small knife, and you want to make a pocket in each of the chicken breasts. Okay, so just make a slit like I'm doing in all of the chicken. So next I'm gonna season the chicken breast. So I have a mix of onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, ground cumin, black pepper, and salt, and mix all of those seasonings together, and then we're gonna season both sides of each of the chicken breast. So rub them really well. Also, if you have any of the powder seasonings we mixed together to season the chicken breast left over, save it, and we're gonna use later on in the sauce we're gonna make for the stuffed chicken breast. Okay, so don't throw it away, save it. So make sure to season both sides of the chicken and then cover it down, put it in the refrigerator, let it marinate for about 1 hour. So while the chicken is marinating, I'm gonna slice up some mushroom and some baby spinach that we're gonna use to stuff our chicken breast. I'm also going to mince a few cloves of garlic and set it aside until I'm ready for it. And now's a good time to get your baking dish ready that you're going to bake the chicken in. So just spray it with some non-stick cooking spray and set it aside. Okay guys, so now we're going to start making the little stuffing for the chicken breast. So I'm getting my frying pan, and once it's nice and hot, I'm going to go in and add a little bit of oil. And then I'm gonna add in the mushroom and spinach we sliced up. I should mention, when you're slicing up the mushroom and spinach, in the description box down below, I'm gonna list to slice up for the whole recipe, but you're gonna divide that in half because we're using about half the spinach and half of the mushroom now for the stuffing, and the other half is gonna be for the sauce. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so I'm going to add some of my spinach and mushroom into my frying pan, and we're going to let this cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. Let the mushroom soften and caramelize just a little bit, and the spinach, you're just looking for it to wilt down. So you're also going to want to season it a little bit. So I added some salt and black pepper to my mushroom and spinach. And once it looks like this, you can turn it off the stove. Okay, so now I'm taking my chicken breast, and you're going to take the mixed spinach and mushroom mixture and stuff it into the slit we made in each of the chicken breasts. And here I'm using a mixture of mozzarella cheese and a blend of Mexican cheeses together. You could just use mozzarella cheese if you'd like, either or, and you want to add some cheese in that pocket as well. Stuff it really good. Depending on the size of your chicken breast, you're going to use more or less. Okay, it all depends on the size, but you want to add a good amount of stuffing in the chicken. If you want, you can use like toothpicks to keep it closed, but I didn't really need to do that. I just stuff it, and then we're gonna bake it. Also, if you need to let the stuffing cool a little bit before you stuff the chicken, do that. Okay, and once you finish stuffing all of the chicken, we're gonna take it and we're gonna place it in that greased baking dish. And yeah, I preheated my oven to 375 degrees. And after this, you guys, you're just gonna place the chicken in the oven, let it bake for about 30 to 35 minutes. It all depends on the thickness of your chicken. Okay, as you can see, my chicken breasts were a little on the small side, so it didn't take that long for mine to cook, but it should take about 35 to 40 minutes max. And once your chicken is fully cooked, if you have a thermometer, the temperature should be around 165 degrees. Once it's fully cooked, you can remove it from the oven. Alright, so while our chicken is cooking, we're gonna make our delicious garlic mushroom sauce. All right, so we're using the same pan we made the stuffing in, and I'm adding a few tablespoons of butter. Then I'm gonna add the remaining spinach and mushroom. You don't need that much spinach and mushroom for the sauce, but yeah. So add in the mushroom and the spinach, and then you're gonna give that a good stir. Add in the minced garlic as well, and you're gonna let this cook down for about 3 minutes. Let everything get nice and caramelized. And once the mushrooms is caramelized, we're gonna add in some heavy cream. All right, stir the pot again, mix everything together. From here, you guys, you're basically gonna let the sauce thicken up. It's gonna come to a slight boil. Once it starts boiling, you want to turn the heat very, very, very low, just so it can keep cooking and thickening, but you don't want it to boil at all. Just let it simmer, okay? And while you're waiting on your sauce to thicken, you want to season it. So here I'm using the remaining seasonings I had from when we were seasoning the chicken. And if you didn't have any seasoning remaining, I'm using onion powder, garlic powder, salt, black pepper, and ground cumin. Okay, a little bit of everything. Make sure your sauce is tasting good and right. Make sure you're stirring it really well to get that good flavor in the bottom of the pan from caramelizing the veggies earlier. Okay, and once it's nice and thick, that's basically it for the sauce. The last thing I'm going to add into it is some shredded Parmesan cheese. And yeah, you guys, once the cheese is very well combined in the sauce, that's it. You're finished making the sauce. The sauce is so delicious, and it tastes so good with the mashed potatoes and the stuffed chicken breast. Okay, and here's the chicken breast when they're finished cooking. They're looking cheesy and delicious. Okay guys, so now I'm making my mashed potatoes, and I'm using red potatoes. It's my favorite type of potatoes to use when making mashed potatoes. I like the color, it adds to it. All right, I'm taking my potatoes and I'm cutting them into some smaller pieces so that way it'll cook faster. And then I'm gonna place the potatoes in a pot with boiling water. So my water is already boiling, but you can put the potatoes in at the same time you put the water to boil, and cover it, let it come to a boil, add a little bit of salt in the potatoes, and let it cook until they're tender. So it should take about 15 minutes, and you'll know the potatoes are ready when, if you take a fork or a knife and you poke them in the middle, it goes right through. Okay, once the potatoes are soft, I'm gonna remove all the water from them. So I threw out the water, and now I'm just using my potato masher, and I'm gonna start mashing up the potatoes. I'm gonna stop in a little while and add my other ingredients to the mashed potatoes. So I'm gonna add in a few tablespoons of butter. I'm also gonna add salt, black pepper, a little bit of onion and garlic powder. And lastly, I'm gonna add in some warm milk. So add all of that into the potatoes, and you can continue mashing up your potatoes until it's nice and smooth and very well mixed together. Sometimes I like to use my cake mixer and attach the whisk attachment to it and use that to get the potatoes nice and fluffy. But I don't know what I did with my whisk attachment. So here I'm just using my cake mixer, and I'm just mixing the potatoes with it. Also just use a whisk, a regular whisk, and whip it. Okay, so whipping it helps it to become a little bit more fluffy, the way I like my mashed potatoes. So once you finish mixing it, taste the mashed potatoes, make sure it's seasoned perfectly, and make sure it has enough salt. Adjust your seasonings as needed, and that's it, you guys. That's it. We're finished making mashed potatoes. So now all we gotta do is serve our meal. So here's the chicken. If you want, you can slice up the chicken and serve it that way with some sauce. Or you can serve the chicken whole, especially if the chicken breast is small like mine. You can serve it whole on with the mashed potatoes on a plate like that, and top it off with some of that delicious garlic mushroom sauce. Okay, don't forget the sauce is kind of like the best part. It tastes so good. But yeah, you guys, that's it for this recipe, and enjoy. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you give it a try, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.